next game shapes up because we are ready with game number 2 from the Viper. Viper and Dracont, game number 2. You can see on the scoreboard that it is 1-0 for the Snake. Viper just won a really impressive game versus Dracont. Dracont played beautifully, played aggressively, did a lot of things right, but the Viper still converted the win. Indians versus Goths in this particular matchup, a couple of civs that might be a little bit more attractive to your eyes than the previous games. Saracens versus Malay. We don't discriminate. We love all civs in this game, but Goths and Indians could be a lot of fun here. I'd rather have the Indians, but we'll see. Indians have I remember looking at the charts, they're in the top third for win percentage amongst Wololo Kingdom civs for pros and 1v1. But they're by no means infallible. When this expansion first came in, we were seeing Indians as OP, but they're not so unapproachable anymore. Anyway, it's Killer Beat. Good to be here live with you guys. Game number 2, the Viper versus Dracont. Yeah, you heard me right. Viper versus Dracont is actually a really, really entertaining series. Dracont's a guy that a lot of people probably know as an arena player, and that's certainly his bread and butter. But boy, his side dish of Arabia really did bring us some entertainment last game. Anyway, Viper's got a back woodline to work with. 3 villagers working out there. We'll see if there's a 4th, but it could be early scouts for Viper. I suppose we'll find out. Back gold for Viper. He is going to have his berries and stone on the front on a bit of an awkward hill. His boars are out on the front on that very same hill. And that hill could be like the crux of this game. That's not a fun hill for the Viper to try to defend. Extra gold, extra stone for the Viper out on the front. 4 vills did shimmy their way over to the wood line, so Viper will have the opportunity to maybe go for some men-at-arms. Certainly should be able to afford the barracks early enough. Dracont's got a 4th villager going over to the wood line as well, so we could see a barracks from him rather early on in this game. Purple player for now, just powering down those last couple sheep. Has to be careful. If he wants to kill the boar under the TC, he's got to be quite careful, and very nice maneuvering. Finish that sheep perfectly. That attention to detail is actually really important. High-level players, they know how to do the little things. Finish that sheep just at the moment that he killed the boar, and he killed the boar under the TC. As Goths, sometimes I screw that up. Anyway, for now, the purple player is building up. His back wood line is relatively safe. He might be able to wall in that left flank. His berries are on the front. Main gold is on the front. Main stone is on the front. Second wood line is going to have to come here, I think, which is not terrible, but it's not great either. If Dracont wants to try to block in his map, he probably could. It would be a lot of work on that flank. But, yeah, okay, pretty open map for both players. Let's see if one player or the other can take advantage of it. Blue Strawberry, yep, still 1-0. Let's see. Hello, Ross. Ross Tars. Yo, yo, yo. First boar, or rather second boar coming in for the purple player. Nothing too much to see here. His scout is once again forward, and the Viper's scout is once again still on his side of the map. Viper, in this case, though, is not missing sheep like he did last game. Now he's just he's pushing in some deer. Fleshing out that economy, rounding things out. Viper will drop his boar now, and he will drop a barracks to go along with it. This early-ish barracks time with 2 villagers building it, that maybe means that the Viper is going to go for a drush here. I don't know why you would double villager build up that area unless you're actually drushing, but I could be wrong. You don't need that barracks done if you're going men-at-arms until 25 seconds from now, so it's up quite a bit early considering how many details the Viper is going to be paying attention to. Dracont trying to lame a vill on that side. Viper is going to go militia here in the Dark Age. 3 militia already queued, and it is a drush. So, maybe no big surprise there. We did see it coming for a moment that the Viper would go for a barracks, but the fact that he's going for a true drush is interesting. Yeah, you don't see a drush too often. Well, you do still see it a lot. You don't see it as often as you used to. Men-at-Arms is the new sex. It's the new meta. Viper will have a villager pincered in here, so Dracont's laming is actually doing a nice job to slow the Viper down. Viper can't afford loom because he built the 3 militia. I wonder if that's actually a wise decision from Viper. He's going to have to bring his scout back and help this villager get to safety. I don't really think there's any other good choice. This vill cannot bring the 10 gold home, so the Viper is going to have to click up to the next age without loom, I think. For now, the Gaia is in the mix, and the Viper's militia are going to just miss Draconts by the looks of it. Don't know if you saw those in passing, but boy, Dracont here once again. Oh, little sneak play from the Viper. Dracont's not going to quite get in on those walls. Viper's trying to get this villager home. She's got the 10 gold, but I don't know if she's going to make it. Yeah, she is. Yellow player will get that 10 gold home, and he can now afford Loom. Good early damage and aggression from Dracont. Dracont does not have Loom either. He is moving away from danger while the Viper slowly works his way in with Militia. Viper scout blocking as much as he can. Proper scout blocking here can maybe win him a Vil, but not quite. Dracont just close enough to his TC to keep things going. Being drushed without Loom, well, both players are both taking those pre-Loom punches. Purple player is going to wall his opponent out with a little quick walling. Did eventually deny the Viper's mining camp, or at least for now is sitting on top of the Viper's gold. Viper will quick wall his side as well. He did grab Loom, the Viper, and Dracont is on the way to Loom too. So a double Dutch drush for you guys here on the channel today. It seems as though Dracont will click Feudal Age first by a smidge. Viper's going to have one more Vil out, and actually 2 more Vils out than his opponent. No, canceled that Vil and clicked up. So the Viper is going to be up with an extra villager here. He's had a little bit more of a efficient, I would say he's had a little bit more efficient of a Feudal Age, considering that he's 12 seconds behind his opponent and has an extra Vil. Yellow player, though, is coming back to deal with Dracont's drush, and neither guy has really landed a whole lot of punches. This game continues to unfold in front of our eyes, and it continues to be a relatively, well, it's definitely a back-and-forth match. It's anybody's game to win. Viper transitioning 5 villagers out to gold on the right side. His barracks is not busy. He's halfway up to the Feudal Age, and maybe we see double ranges dropped by the Viper right away when he hits Feudal. Viper's still microing around his opponent's side, or is he just going to fast castle? I don't know. I expect double ranges, but it actually could be a fast castle build from the Viper with 5 Vils on gold right now. Dracont is definitely not going to let the Viper away easy on this one. It is going to be a 6 militia forward area for Dracont. Just lost 1 to his opponent's damage, but Dracont is here to fight. The Goth spam is already in effect, and we will see a tower coming down from Dracont right on the Viper's berries immediately. Purple player's aggression served him well in Game 1. Didn't get him a win, but served him well. Aggression in Game 2, well, we'll see how it shapes up. Viper is not going to be able to fast castle on this. Not ultra fast, but he will drop down another mining camp to take a little stone. Moving everyone off of gold and building up an archery range is the Viper. Viper is going to try to get a tower of his own in defense, and Dracont is going to try to snipe a Vil, but he will be just a moment too late. So another extremely aggressive game from Dracont. His first tower takes away the mill, which is quite nice, starving his opponent of a couple hundred cheap food that he should get on that side. Viper will mill up the other side and start taking deer, and the Viper is also taking stone. Another defensive tower from the Snake, a couple archers on the way from him as well. And we will see if Dracont can break through this time with another tower push. Not so surprising to see a little bit weaker of a player taking on his opponent with towers and aggression and trying to make the game simple in the early part and get a nice advantage. For now, those first few towers from Dracont are nice. They are annoying, but the next ones could be a lot better because this wood line's not terribly thick.
Look at that thick wood. Oh, that's not running out anytime soon.
Why is it double Dutch, says Gloken. I don't know, man. Why not? Viper's going to try to wall his opponent into a little pocket on that side, and he's also going to try to build up a defensive tower. Viper's still, his wood over here is still okay. It's still far enough from Dracont's first tower for it to really matter too much. Yellow player, though, is walling all of this in. Maybe wants to get a poke in to slow these villagers down. Archer's coming forward, but there's a lot of men-at-arms here. The Viper's Vils, well, Dracont probably could have grabbed those Vils, but right now Dracont is running circles around with the men-at-arms, and he's Benny Hilling it. Oh, my God. Oh, Dios míos. The Viper with a couple more quick palisade gates, using those to massive effect. Dracont loses his tower, he loses his forward, and he didn't even get to kill a Vil. I think Dracont could have engaged a bit more with the men-at-arms and maybe grabbed a Vil, but really, Viper walls this up and then walls out. Oh, God. Walls out the men-at-arms. Just a really, really Impressive defense from the Viper. Dracont's tower ends up getting denied, I suppose, or knocked down, I should say, pretty quickly. Viper is building up another tower on the other side, and he and Dracont continue to fight for the left side of this eco. Dracont is burning a lot of calories for this tower push that he's got, and it will slow him down. It will eventually catch up with him as far as speed of damages is concerned. Viper will come in and rush down Dracont's first tower. He might lose one villager in the process, but no fletching for Dracont. So very slow grind trying to get that vill, and it looks like the Viper can probably rush both of those down for free. The Viper is just putting on a show on how to defend towers, and he's going to micro away with a couple of skirms. Purple player will get this tower done by the looks of it. Maybe. Yeah, it looks like that villager is safe enough to get the tower done. And Dracont continues to rely on trying to take away that wood line. Viper can transition to this other backwood if he wants to, but right now he's adding in a blacksmith so he can beef up his archers with some fletching. Or skirmishers, I should say, with some fletching. Dracont has really burned a lot of calories. He does have a good little eco going. A lot of wood, a lot of gold in the bank. Purple player is on 36 vills, so he didn't idle his TC too much during this push. He's got double ranges. He's got a tower or two in defense. Looks like one tower for now, but probably a few more coming for Dracont. All is not lost for him, but he does need some momentum in his direction soon. Viper's fletching will be in very shortly, and if this tower isn't up before fletching is in, it might be difficult to get up. 95% of the way done, but now both towers reach this tower from Dracont, and Dracont will maybe go finish it, but it's going to get knocked down rather quickly. His villager here as well is no longer safe out of the range of the tower from the Viper. So the purple player is coming back in to try to keep his tower going, but I think the Viper can reach him there. Tough spot for Dracont, who is still lacking fletching. Wheelbarrow is coming for purple. He's got 4 villagers on the front who might end up naked and afraid. They might end up stranded there. I don't know if they're going to make it home for Christmas this year. It's down to now 2 villagers alive on the front, and that tower is not going to see the end of this sentence. So Dracont will lose the tower on the front. He's going to build up a new tower one panel further back. This villager, though, I think can still be hit, so he's got to be careful. Maybe my math is wrong. Yeah, I guess nope, she can still be hit by the tower arrow fire, and the Viper comes over with skirms to clean her up. That villager is not going to survive, and neither is her husband. The forward for Dracont is dead. The dream is not totally dead, but it is certainly, it's starting to get sunny in here, and the dreaming time is starting to draw to a close. The time for Dracont to dream about winning this game might be coming to a close. He put on a great show in Game 1, but here in Game 2, his aggression has fallen on deaf ears. Pretty good job to get in for the first few towers and be annoying, but ultimately the Viper puts out a great defense, cleans up most of the men-at-arms, all but 3, and gets all 4 of his opponent's vills. Dracont does have Wheelbarrow. I don't know if the Viper does have Wheelbarrow yet. Keep an eye on this one vill and see if she counts up over 10. Looks like the Viper does not. He does have Wheelbarrow. Oh, what a tricky vill. What a vixen. She walked over toward the TC just to mess with me. I think that, I guess that means the Viper has Wheelbarrow done. But Castle Age coming for yellow. Castle Age coming for his opponent in purple as well. Ross has got the throw sign. I don't know if it's a throw per se. I think it was a pretty nice defense from the Viper. I mean, you know, I guess we can all kiss the Viper's ass all day long if we want to, if we choose to do that. You could probably justifiably do it all day long. But I think it was quite a nice defense. Gating his opponent in, getting his first tower up before Dracont did, getting a few archers in the mix. Rushing down these 2 towers on the left is not to be denied either. That's a smart move, one that I would overlook, but a better player will see that 2 naked towers, even though they're cross-protecting each other without fletching, is an extremely weak position. So a good defense from the Viper, and maybe not the perfect offense from Dracont. It is +1/+1 for Viper. It is +1 only for Dracont, who is now going for forging. Dracont has double ranges. He's just added in forging, and I'm not exactly sure what he's planning to build. His barracks for now is idle. I suppose he might be thinking about a stable, but he can't afford it yet. So right now, it's unclear. Oh, it just became a lot more clear. Dracont was taking stone that whole time, and he's going to drop a castle. So Dracont is going to try to castle and Huskarl his way out of this position, and we'll see if that works in just a moment after a brief pause. It was a bit of a throw. He kept coming to the towers. They weren't going up. Yeah, okay. I think that's fair enough. Yeah, he definitely threw those last vills. Ewer with the Civ win. Well, I would rather have Indians than Goths. I would rather have that. Mr. Eagle sees it too. The castle is going to be coming here in just a moment if Dracont can find a safe place to put it. He's going to put it out on the right side of his eco, which is interesting. Left side is at least somewhat safe due to this one defensive tower. Quick walling from Dracont. Well, not exactly quick, but he does have some walls built up so that the archers can't quite get into this eco with any safety. Viper for now looking to get some damage on that side while his opponent builds up a castle on the left. The Viper will probably start to notice that, hey, I don't see any extra TCs and I don't see any military, so something is a little fishy from this position from Dracont. But we'll see. We'll see if the Snake realizes what's going down. Huskarls is maybe not a super surprising move in this case. Your opponent is going archers. Huskarls make a lot of sense. 3 TCs for the Viper. This new one in the back protects that back economy. And we will see. We'll see how this one goes down. A couple of archers from the Viper to keep his opponent honest. Did go to crossbow, but presumably is not going to be building a whole lot more archers. Chainmail armor is coming for the Viper now, so he's maybe starting to think about those Huskarls coming his direction. Can't think of a reason to go chainmail armor quite so early unless you're anticipating a little melee action. Indians player for now is still beefing out that eco. 52 vills for the Viper. Dracont once again is on the 1 TC, 1 castle sort of a play. Dracont's husks are going to start rolling out, and he will kill this whole army from the Viper. He will tip his cap to his opponent as to what he's building, and he'll show him the upgrades as well. But, you know, going to kill this army for cheap and going to try to turn over and move toward his opponent's side. Viper's on the way to Squires. Viper is on the way to a 4th TC. Indians are an absolute biatch if you let them boom up. And it's actually, it's not really letting in this case, but it's starting to look like the Viper is going to boom his way into a really nice position. For the next few minutes, maybe Dracont has an opportunity. Anarchy on the way. He's coming forward with more barracks. He's coming forward with Huskarls. +1/+1 on those husks. And maybe Dracont can get in enough damage to slow down the Viper. The Viper is steamrolling his way toward a big, scary eco. Dracont is going to need to bulk up a couple of husks and find a place to do some damage. The first man-at-arms is out for the Viper. He's got double barracks down, and I suppose he's going to go for the longswordsman option. Goth's spam can be overwhelming in Imp if the game reaches Imp. It's true, Uncle Chips. This looks like an all-in sort of a castle play. We might not see it as an all-in play, but after you go Anarchy and you build husks and you build a couple of barracks, it seems like Dracont is committing here to the Castle Age. I could be wrong. Dracont might pull his way out of this because Longswordsman is on the way. The Viper's got another barracks on the way as well. Dracont will take away those 2 front resource piles, but on the bright side of it for the Viper, he at least got to mine them for a little while. Huskarl starting to roll in. We will see the longswords coming out. Longswords with +2 defense now are going to try to defend versus husks. Longswordsman versus Huskarl. Well, you can see that husks have the same HP. They have 11 damage. The longsword does 9. But ultimately, the Huskarl is a quite expensive unit, and it's not super fun to throw them into longswords. Longsword still spamming out for the Viper at full clip. He is 27 villagers ahead, and Dracont has extremely committed to the Huskarl spam. He's going to have more barracks coming forward and a monastery actually coming forward. And he's going to dive in. He's got to try to do something. He's already committed to this. He's hitched his wagon to Huskarls, so he's going to just have to dive in and live with whatever goes down. Viper's longswords are still not in quite big enough numbers, but he needs to keep engaging, I suppose, because, well, the other option is letting Dracont kill him. Yellow player does get overwhelmed pretty quickly there, and his longsword number is down to 4. 23 military for Dracont. It is still a 1 TC play, which probably doesn't surprise you based on the amount of production that Dracont has had already. Viper is heading back to his towers. He is going to sustain some damage here. His longswords continue to congregate and head to the back of the eco to try to deal with the Huskarls. Villagers are running hither and thither, but for now, Dracont's got some momentum on his side. Did Dracont get arson? I don't know the answer. Let's check real quick. Let's check. Arson, arson, arson. Nope, doesn't look like he has arson. I think it turns to the lighter green in this case. So Dracont does not look to have arson. I think he's looking to grab villagers now. Viper will wall in a couple of those Huskarls, which is a cheeky move as his longswords work their way over. So the Viper traps a couple of units. Not a bad little move there. Does separate two of Dracont's armies for a moment, so his longswords can do a little bit more. Dracont is going to lean heavily on the Viper for the next few minutes of game time, and he does absolutely need to continue to put down damage. It's going to be about 30 villagers difference here very shortly if Dracont can't get some kills. Viper's longswords are still lacking forging, so that will help him a lot. He's also going to be fighting near or under his TCs, I suppose. Yellow player coming down from the top of the hill continues to engage the Huskarls, which are now at 36 in number. Purple player still sending those units forward and congregating on the front. Does have a good number inside of the Viper's eco. TC's firing away, but of course that TC is going to have a slow time working its way through the 8 defense of the Huskarl. Viper sends his whole army in again, and basically his entire group of longswords end up dead. It's still a 22 villager advantage for yellow, but the all-in Huskarl production from Dracont is going to give Viper a run for his money. Dracont is kind of in the lead in this game from who's actually leading the dance, who's forcing the action. It's definitely Dracont. And he's the one who might have the opportunity to make a change and make a decision. He can either lean heavily on the husks or he can stop production and try to go up to the next stage. Right now, it is 60 villagers for Dracont, and he spent all of the gold that he has on these husks. Viper on the other side has a higher vill count by 21, does have the extra TCs, but at least for the moment, is not able to stop this army of Huskarls that is trying to steamroll its way into his eco. Viper will lose a lot of farms. He's lost a couple of buildings on the front, and Dracont looks to be doubling down on this commitment to aggression. It's Huskarls all day, every day for Dracont, who's got a pretty massive, scary number of +2/+2 husks. They're going to run in and take down one of the Viper's town centers here by the looks of it. Viper coming from behind with long swords. He does need to snipe this one mango that is working its way forward, and sniping that monk would help too. But the Huskarls finish the TC. The Viper's losing some vills, and Dracont makes it a 17 villager, 16 villager, 15, 14, 13 villager, probably by the end of this advantage. So great damage coming in from Dracont, and he will almost equalize the villager count. Still got a big scary group of Huskarls on the front. Viper has +2/+2 longswords. He's going to fight Dracont in the shadow of his TC. Dracont here is 36 military total, but a lot of it is still working its way over. Viper is reinforcing more quickly, and Dracont looks like he's going to have to go back. So a really interesting moment in the game. Dracont grabs a TC, but maybe overcommitted a tiny bit to that fight with the longswords. Dracont continuing to spend everything he's got to try to put pressure on the Viper, and we are going to see the longswordsman upgrade coming for Dracont as well. He's Goths. His build is so gold heavy that I suppose transitioning over to a little less gold heavy unit like the longswords would be a little bit more of a nice matchup for Dracont. He's got 67 vills. The Viper only has 78. So after building 4 TCs and booming, the Snake has had not only spend all of his resources defending himself, he's also had to spend a lot of, he's lost a lot of villagers that he spent a lot of food on. So it's still a great position. It's still an interesting game. Viper's got a tiny score lead. I would guess that that might be due to, no, it's not due to kill death. I guess it's due to resources gathered. Viper on the way to arson is rolling forward with his longswords. We'll try to take out a little bit of his opponent's production. Viper for now trying to stabilize the position. Still a 12 vill advantage, but this is still anybody's game to be had. I still think it's anybody's game to be had. He has to get it soon. Just can't take TCs with the husks that he has. Okay. Maybe Dracont did grab arson before diving in on that TC. I didn't notice. But the TC went down so fast, so I assume he did end up getting it there just in time. Dracont standing and fighting, and he's just in time to lose everything. The Viper is definitely pushing out now with some momentum, and Dracont is trying to turtle up a bit. If I could patrol like you, he says, GG. GG, well played. Dracont will resign from this one. He did give it a run with the Huskarls. He did lean heavily on the Viper. Viper's longswords were a bit more cost-effective fighting versus husks. Great husk rating on the right from Dracont, but Didn't get as many villagers as he might have wanted. He didn't find his way into any gushy parts of this eco. There were just too many damn TCs. So GG comes in. Dracont will say thanks for the games, and it looks like he is going to be done for now. Very nice set of games from Dracont. Very entertaining set of games from him. Really gave us some interesting